What's up, everybody? This is BakaBites. I am Frankfurter. That is Magically Average, and today we are going to be talking about anime in TCG and anime TCG. There is a difference. There is just anime that appear in trading card games like Magic, etc. I say etc. I literally listed one. There's a lot of them out there. There
There's
it
a
is.
lot.
And then you have literal anime TCGs like the My Hero One Piece type of game. So we're gonna go into that. We're gonna get into a little bit of everything. And while we do all of that, I have with me a box of Oshinoko Weiss Schwarz cards, and I will be opening this during our recording. So if I blatantly yell out because I got something neat,
Oh,
I apologize in advance. Which why don't we start with Weiss Schwarz since we're here?
oh God. You picked the hardest one to start with.
Well, that's in the sense of like it's the I feel like the one we could talk the least about
Well,
least
yeah,
about because we know the least amount. Jesus fucking Christ, Frank. We know the least about it. In the sense of we don't know how to play it. I
yeah.
bought this box because I like Oshinoko, and then I had previously opened on a TikTok stream a box of Bochi the Rock, which I got one really good card out of the Bochi the Rock box, and I have it framed, but I have not put it on my wall. But
You
yeah, no,
you have it framed like she died, like
it
she
is
was your
really
daughter. It's a card in like a massive frame, as if like like your loved one was lost. Especially the fact that she's posed in like the sitting position.
in the
Uh,
arms of Bochi.
if you donate $5, you can potentially give her a mango box to hide in. Um, yeah, Weiss Schwartz is a
Anyway,
weird one. Like Weiss Schwartz. So I this was a topic that I really was enjoying talking about because my other big hobby outside of like um anime and manga and like collecting manga and reading manga and then doing the podcast for this and everything like that, right? And content creation and stuff. My other main hobby is trading cards and collecting trading cards and playing trading card games, and my main one is Magic the Gathering, but I've gotten into like a crap ton of others. Because growing up, I collected Pokemon, I played Yu-Gi-Oh. Um, it mainly because too, like no one knew how to play Pokemon growing up. It was strictly just for collecting and trading. And now, it's got a massive, it's still huge today, but there's more of a competitive gameplay for it, I feel like today versus when I was collecting it 25 years ago, 24 years ago. Um, but ever since COVID-19 too, I feel like more and more people are getting into trading card games and it's just kind of exploding, which is great. But that also is giving more to like the creation of new trading card games. I think like I wish I could find the stat, and I feel like it would be really hard to find some site that would catalog it this way. But I want to say, if I had to guess, over the last 5 years since the COVID-19 outbreak, I imagine there's probably been minimum 4 to 5 very popular trading card games that have been like developed and produced. Um, and most of them people know, like One Piece is a huge one that's come out in English over the last year and a half or 2 years. You have the new Dragon Ball Z trading card game, which is separate from Dragon Ball Z Fusion. I think it's Dragon Ball Z Worlds Collide. You have Flesh and Blood, which I think at this point is about 5 years old. You have a brand new game called Altered, which I got into recently as well. Um, and you have Universes, which is a big trading card game now, kind of in a similar vein to Weiss Schwartz. Like there's so many, and it's great.
yeah,
It's
there's a ton.
awesome.
You get
It's
lost
super
in it.
cool. The problem though is that with trading card games, you have to have the trading card element, the trading element is always there, right? You can create inherent value in your cards by making very hard to find chase cards or limited release cards or whatever the case might be, right? Like that's the easiest component to it, right? The hardest part is the game part, making a game that's playable. And what you're showing right now on screen, which is Weiss Schwarz, looks beautiful. Love the
I just
cards. Love that they take it from an IP. Like they don't try to do anything new with it. They just take what is in existence, and then they make really like awesome chase cards, which are these signed gold foil stamp cards from the voice actors themselves. Super fun. The gameplay though, I would rather pull my own teeth out with a rusty screwdriver than learn how to play Weiss Schwarz. This
Correct.
gameplay is a freaking nightmare.
It is a disaster. Also, I just want to let you know,
Oh
in the
God.
first pack, I pulled the third rarest type card, which is a OFR, which is over frame rare. And then
Okay.
in this newest one, I pulled a double rare.
Okay, good job. I'm proud of you. All right, I'm
Yeah.
gonna pull. All right, so what I'm pulling up now, now brace yourselves, people that are watching the YouTube video, okay? Because your brains might explode from seeing this. This is the playmat for playing a game of Weiss Schwarz. Now, if you look at it, you're like, this is probably like looking at two players playing against each other. Nope, this is one person. And we're going to go through all 8 things on this playmat, which is your deck of cards. Probably the easiest piece to this all. Then you have your level. All right. You have a clock. You have a stock. Make sure you differentiate between clock and stock. You have climax area, which everyone wants to get there. I know, but bear with me.
Woo!
You have stage positions, which include backstage and center stage. You have a waiting room, where even if you get to your appointment 10 minutes ahead of time, the nurse still will not call your name for another 35 minutes, so you just sit there. And then you have memory. I have zero idea what any of these mean. And I have been collecting Weiss Schwarz cards now for probably close to 3 years. I have attempted to teach myself this game, and I almost comatose myself. It is wild. I really, really wish I could learn it, but I don't think I have any more RAM left in my brain to actually retain any of the information and be able to replicate it. But the best part about Weiss Schwarz, great card. The best part about Weiss Schwarz is that you have chase cards, and I'm going to kind of take center stage now from you and show you some of mine. So this is Assigned Eyes from Don Machi, as well as one of Frank's, I think this is one of your favorite characters from Don Machi.
Not. Yeah, they're up there, but not like my favorite.
Yeah,
favorite.
she's the advisor of Labyrinth's Exploration, Aina. And then a recent one I got from just a random box I bought from LGS. They had one left, and I was like, you know what? I'll get it. It's cheap. I have store credit. I pulled a Power signed with Meowie in it, and it's gorgeous. Like, these are beautiful cards. And if you're an anime fan, it's like, why wouldn't you try to like even if you don't know the game, like why wouldn't you try to go and get these cards? Like, these are great. They look gorgeous, and then they're highly collectible too, right? Like, these cards, I think the eyes and the power alone are probably like 120, 130 bucks a piece. Like, highly collectible card games. I just did actually before our recording.
Okay.
Highly collectible trading card game. But again, the gameplay itself is like maddeningly difficult to learn.
Yes.
I will say,
I want to give you a heads up. There's only one listing for the card that I have framed, and it's at $385.
gosh dang.
So that's pretty.
And it's my listing.
No, it's not.
No, I know.
Frame and all.
And it's me. But the cool thing I will say about Weiss Schwarz, like gameplay wise, is that they do limit it to like one IP. So you can't make a deck like my deck's made with cards from Seven Deadly Sins, Overlord, and JoJo's. It's like, no, you can only play with one IP, which is a cool limitation on the mechanic. But yeah, I mean, like I've tried. It's impossible. Another trading card game, which up until like a couple days ago, I thought was a part of Weiss Schwarz. I think it's its own thing. There's a HoloLive trading card game.
I know that they have Weiss Schwarz HoloLive.
They have Weiss Schwarz HoloLive, but they also have their own trading card game, like separate from Weiss Schwarz. Just like how Final Fantasy has its own trading card game as well. But there's also going to be a Magic the Gathering Final Fantasy collaboration crossover thing.
Right.
Like, this is, and that's kind of a good example too to what I want to get into, going into like the next topic which is like, there is so much crossover between IPs and even IPs that have existing like what do you want to call them? Like sub products, I guess you would say.
Sure.
right? Because like for instance, Final Fantasy, right? It's a video game. They also have their own trading card game, but they are now doing a crossover with Magic the Gathering to make Magic the Gathering trading cards for in the style of Final Fantasy that reference Final Fantasy cards. They just did the same thing recently with Assassin's Creed, Magic the Gathering,
Huh.
that is. So like where
Yeah.
they have like like it's not like they're rebranding existing cards in Magic the Gathering as like Assassin's Creed, like a little skin over it. Like this card is normally this, but now we rebranded it to be Assassin's Creed style. No, they're like brand new cards that you can play in Magic the Gathering. And they're going to do the same thing for Final Fantasy. They did the same thing for Transformers. They did the same thing for Jurassic Park. And the one that I think a lot of people are excited about, they're doing the same thing for Marvel, right?
Weiss Schwarz has a Marvel set coming out.
Yeah,
Yes.
Marvel's getting into it too. And Marvel has their own digital trading card game. And I think they're going to get their own physical trading card game too. I believe they have, like Marvel has Marvel Snap, right? The digital trading card game effectively. Less
It's
so
more of a
trading, more so game.
competition game than anything. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
it's more like a
know if
Hearthstone.
you can trade or not in
I don't
that
think you
game.
can. But I believe Marvel's in the process of making or like creating their own trading card game.
That
Like I
would
mean Disney already did it with Lorcana, so it's like
Yeah.
why not
And
do
they're
it
probably
ourselves?
like, we're selling like gangbusters.
Yeah.
I think one of the funniest interactions I've ever had with Lorcana is I was standing at a grocery store checkout line, and some dude, probably my age, maybe a little bit younger, didn't want to really be known that he is just a nerd and likes TCG,
Embrace it,
and just
bro.
went up to the end cap that had all the Lorcana packs, individual packs on it, and just basically did a like
Yerp.
right into his basket. But like he was like this close away from like the end cap, so like nobody would see him, so he wouldn't have that
Oh.
embarrassment. But I was probably the one guy who's just like, I saw that. I saw what you did
Nah,
there.
you just embrace it at this point.
Yeah, at this point it's fine.
Yeah.
Who
The one
cares?
the one crossover that
30-year-old
is
men talking about anime online. Ooh, that's pretty neat.
the one crossover that it was very limited, so it wouldn't be enough to get you into Magic the Gathering, I know, but it was Cowboy Bebop did a Magic the
I know.
Gathering, and I just transitioned it for our viewers on YouTube. But Cowboy Bebop did a basically a promo series with Magic the Gathering. So Magic the Gathering has events called Standard Showdown, which is Standard is one of the main kind of basically premier formats in Magic the Gathering. And I'm sure a lot of MTG nerds, if there are any that listen to this or watch this, will be like, "Oh, not anymore. It's Standard or Modern and Commander." And I'm like, "Yes, I know, but Standard was like the staple in Magic the Gathering's creation, right?" You could get these promo cards, and I was actually lucky enough. I attended one of the standard competitions at an LGS and got the first one, which is Ossification, which is a cool card, but it's in the Cowboy Bebop style. It's got some like nice, very subtle foiling to it. It's a really pretty card. But yeah, they're doing almost it's like halfway through 2025. They're doing like a really slow release of all these promo
Yeah,
cards.
it's like every 2 or so months. 2.5
Yeah, the
months.
first one was pretty quick. It's August 2nd to September 19th, so it just ended. But then the next promo card is from September 27th to November 7th. And I'll nerd out for a second for any of you Magic the Gathering fans out there. The Disdainful Stroke Magic card is in the style of Spike Spiegel, but as Oko, Thief of Crowns, or Oko from Magic the Gathering, which I'm like, it's pretty cool. So
That's pretty neat.
yeah, but it's really there's a mixed view on it, especially in the Magic the Gathering community about all the crossovers. But the expansion of IPs into trading card games is, again, as I mentioned at the top, something that has exploded over the last 5 years. The main one I would have to say is One Piece. The One Piece trading card game is wild, and I think the best part about it is that they kind of established early on, hey, this is like a trading card game, right? This is
Yeah.
not a we're not going to chase for cards. There's going to be hits, right? Everyone's looking for these manga cards, which are they look gorgeous, mind you. Like whatever the character it is with like manga panels in the background, really heavily foiled. They look fantastic. But it's like it is a game, a competitive game at the end of the day. And like they've from the very beginning, there was competitions like all around me. Like I think even like by the time the second set came out, they were already starting to like create store competitions, and then there was going to be local tournaments a little bit later. Like massive, massive immediate hit in the United States.
Yeah.
And it's not, to me, it's not all too surprising given One Piece's just love across the entire world. And that's not an understatement. It is the entire world at this point. But like it's more surprising from a trading card perspective that people are like gravitate to it, right? Because you think like more universally, if you made a One Piece video game, that's easy for people to like go to, right? A lot of people play video games, whether it's like handheld, mobile, whatever the case might be, right? Like video games is kind of like an easy in. You look at any other trading, like any other anime IP, My Hero, Dragon Ball, Naruto, like Don Marchi, yeah, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, like any of those, right? Like that's the easiest in to expand from your like original IP, which is a manga or an anime. Going into trading cards is always like iffy because, as it pains me to say, in the case of Digimon, it could brutally fail. Like when Digimon, when they recreated the Digimon trading card game in modern day, they did a lot of investment into like completely overhauling how the game works mechanically. They redid all the cards. They looked beautiful. There were still some chase cards, and the gameplay was actually really fun. I had played it a few times, and it was actually quite enjoyable. However, it just didn't have the same pull as like a One Piece. And all around me now, you can't find many places to play Digimon, or even like places that carry a lot of like the newer Digimon products. Like,
sell it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I went to my LGS. This has to be like 6 months ago, I would think. And I think boxes when they would come out would sell for like $70, like $69.99, because there weren't a ton of packs. And you only got like I think it's like 12 cards per pack or something like that. So like, less than Magic the Gathering, a little bit less than One Piece too. So, it was a fair price. I think my LGS at one point was selling like a recent-ish set that had come out for like $20. Like a whole box for like $20. Like we just need to get this out of here.
That's wild.
And I'm like, oh my God. Like I remember when they would sell out like in 2 days because people would just rush there on release day, grab as many boxes of Digimon as they could, pull cards, start making their decks. And then it was like, we can't get another inventory like refresh in for like 2 months, And you're like, wow, man, this is going to be crazy, right? And then it's just kind of fallen off. Oh. One Piece was like that at the beginning.
Devastating.
So sad. One Piece was like that at the beginning in terms of like being able to find it, like availability domestically. And I think they've addressed that now. There's certainly at my LGS, there's plenty more boxes, but they were selling like hotcakes when they came out. Like it was hard to find cards anywhere.
Yes.
So it's
clear. I remember because I was like, maybe I'll buy some, and then they just weren't available.
No, and they're pretty expensive now.
I was gonna say they're also really expensive. It's like $7 a pack for some of the series or some of the sets.
Yeah, and that's like the chase piece, right? But it is so it's One Piece is kind of like, and this is not a bad thing or a good thing, speaking very bluntly about it. It is falling into like the Pokemon area in which the prices are overinflated due to the chase cards, but the cards that are used for competitive play are like reasonably priced.
Yeah.
Right. I remember watching videos like during COVID, and a bunch of people started opening up packs of cards and getting into trading cards, like I had mentioned. And I was listening to one guy who was opening up cards, and he's like, yeah, I talked with a competitive Pokemon player, and they were like, I made my deck for like $45, and it's like a strong winning competitive deck. And he's like, meanwhile, the Charizard that came out in this set is like $135.
Which is wild. I mean, it's just the people wanting their favorite Pokemons, and if it's a shiny version of their favorite Pokemon, it's like, price go boom.
Yeah, exactly. I'll give you an example, and this is just a little bit of a flex. But like in Magic the Gathering, in Magic the Gathering, like the price is reflective of the card's inherent strength, which is thankfully what's kept cards at a reasonable price, for like like less of the chase cards, but just the strength cards, right? Like if you want to make something that's competitive and good, you're gonna have to pay a little bit extra. But if you want to just make a deck, it's still fine. Like you can do it at a reasonable cost, right?
Right.
This card that I'm holding in my hand, which is a Mox Diamond, for anyone who knows, if not, this
I do
card,
know.
very strong. Very strong card, used in competitive play, is also quite old. This card alone is worth $700.
I was gonna say, like, I know the only thing I really know about Magic, other than like lands and colors, or that there are colors, is
Mhm.
the gemstones are very valuable.
Yeah, like the original Mox, like the Moxes are ungodly. But again, that's because they're insanely strong, and they also just have not been reprinted, nor will they ever be reprinted. So like
Right.
that's just inherent value. But again, what you're showing on screen, what we've been looking at right now, like they all have chase cards, but the competitive play to them is not dictated off of like the chase cards so much, so less so as like just the inherent strength of a card is what drives the value. So I like
Yeah.
the One Piece is falling into that where like boxes are becoming more expensive because those chase cards are becoming more valuable, less so like the competitive cards. But I mean,
Agreed.
it's
Also,
still
I'm down to my last 2 packs. Should I go with the left or the right?
always go right.
Okay.
Yeah, because the right will fail you.
I
Couple more to talk about because these ones are really interesting to me. A new one that
feel
came
like
out.
this episode, if you were looking for me to talk, this is not the episode. I know diddly fucking squat about TCG.
Trading cards
I
are
like
my
the pretty. I like looking at the pretty cardboard. That's about it.
trading cards are my jam, and it's so funny because like you can't see it on my desk, but I have like a stack of cards right underneath one of my monitors. I have a box over here to my right. I've got my dining room table downstairs has like one section that's just stockpiled of trading cards. I have a whole cabinet full of trading cards. Like it is jam packed.
I thought that was gonna be it. It was so
Oh
close.
darn.
This is super rare.
Um, But yeah, no, a recent game that came out is Universus. So very similar to Weiss Schwarz in that you play with a single IP, but they have a number of different IPs that they're slowly releasing. But upside to it versus Weiss Schwarz is that it kind of mimics like a fighting game, like an arcade style fighting game in terms of tabletop gameplay. So it's a little
Okay.
bit easier to learn and but still like attractive because you're including IP from all across the anime universe. And I think it's almost exclusively anime. I think they might have like a kaiju set, like a Godzilla set.
Hmm.
But we'll take a look at all the licenses. So they have to go through a few
That's
solo
the last
leveling.
pack, by the way.
Oh, last pack magic. They have solo leveling, Spy Family, Attack on Titan, Godzilla. They have Critical Role, I guess. My Hero,
No,
specifically the Dark Tournament from Yu Yu Hakusho, Cowboy Bebop, and Trigun. So far, and then as you mentioned too, there also is specifically a My Hero Academia card game, which is also fun. I tried it out once, and it was enjoyable. There's
when you have
also
packs, right?
no PAX. I was just going to mention that PAX. I tried out the Star Wars trading card game, which is a lot of fun. That one's probably next to Flesh and Blood. It's probably my next favorite trading card game. Definitely Magic, Flesh and Blood, and then Star Wars Unlimited. But then again, it's just another way to get anime fans into something new. And the trading card route, again, it's always kind of finicky, right? Because if you have to be attractive on the two fronts. You have to be attractive from the collectability perspective, but you also have to be attractive from the gameplay perspective. And I think
Playability.
yeah, I think that's where Digimon failed, is that the collectability was not all there because from
It was
experience,
so focused on playability.
I don't even know if it was that. Like coming from experience of collecting Digimon, because I did want to compete at local card stores in Digimon because it's very fun. The chase cards, so to speak, were just
Yeah.
different variants of the same card. So if you opened up the basic variant of it, it's still a really, really crazy, good, strong card for your deck, but it's worth like $1. But then if you open up the crazy, insane version, like that's worth like $500 or whatever, it still does the same thing. It's just a different version. So it's like again, that kind of made it fall into that One Piece and Pokemon spot where it's like, yeah, I have a Charizard, but I have this different alt art version of Charizard, which makes mine 500% more expensive than yours, right? They do the same thing, it's just different art, different style, whatever. Harder to crack. Then Digimon fell into the gameplay piece where it was a little confusing. It started to get more convoluted as sets came out, and so people started to peter off, and it was coming less and less attractive. So that's like, as unfortunate as it is, at least again locally, I could be completely wrong like across the United States, but like I barely see any Digimon cards in stock on my LGS. They've reduced the amount of like special events they hold for new Digimon releases. So it's tough. It's a tough market to get into. So you certainly have to have both of those. Universes, I think, is only just there for the anime satisfaction piece of it, where it's like, I just kind of want to get cards from my favorite anime. Like I bought the pre-constructed decks for Cowboy Bebop and Trigun, and they are beautiful cards.
Yeah.
I don't know the value of them. I don't know. I have yet to learn how to play it, but they're just fun. They're nice to have. They look pretty, right? I'm not looking to like buy a pack and then make $500 off of whatever card I potentially could open, right?
Right.
I'm just there because it's cool to own cards from one of the IPs that I really like a lot.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Also, just as a heads up, the first pack that I pulled that I was like, oh, this is the over the frame, whatever. That is the most expensive card that I got in this deck. It is about $74.
Right, yay! Claps for the Frank. Good job.
Is this one?
To put my trading card collector hat on, be aware that's just an inflated price right now because the decks just recently came out, so it
Yes,
will likely go
because
down in price.
There's only been 2 sales.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
1 sale, 3 sales.
5 sales, 20 sales, 18.
4 sold. 4 sold total. Sale lowest 69, high 100.
It's free real estate. The last one I wanted to talk about, because this one just always makes me laugh, and then we can just wrap up with some other fun trading card stories.
Yeah.
So if you're Dragon Ball, you make a trading card game thinking like, we are strong. We're like One Piece. We've got the pedigree. We've got the amazing video games. We've got the adoring fan base. We can make a trading card game too, right? So they come out with Dragon Ball Super Card Game Masters, and they're like, this is going to do well. And it did for a while.
Buckets.
It did for a while until it didn't. And so what does Dragon Ball do? Do they just kind of float off into the ether and enjoy, like, just say thanks for the ride and go on to the next project? No. They double down and go, fuck it. That one didn't work. New one. Dragon Ball Card Game Fusion World.
Yay!
It made me laugh so hard when I was like, so wait, hang on. They completely nixed, because there were competitions for the original Dragon Ball Masters.
Right.
I'm like, they completely nixed, just erased everything that there was about this competitive game to then just create a new game that people had to transition to. And the store owner was like, yeah, that's why these boxes are 40 and these boxes are 120. And I was like, cool, good story. Thank you. I won't be collecting that right now. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Dragon Ball was like, hey, where we failed here, we now learned and we can improve. And here's our new trading card game. And they definitely improved fast. This one just came out in 2024. And the moment I heard about it was probably like a week after the first box had come out, right? Because I heard rumblings even before then. They'll be like, oh, yeah, there's a new trading card game. It's new Dragon Ball Fusion World. And I was like, isn't there already a Dragon Ball? And they're like, yeah, but we don't talk about that one anymore. That one's dead. That's 6 feet under. This is our new one. It's super shiny. It's super shiny, and we like this one more. This one's our new favorite. And I was like, all right, cool. I might give it a check. I like Dragon Ball. And I went in. I was like, do you guys have the Fusion World? And they were like, it felt like I had asked them if they'd seen a ghost. And they were like, No. There's none of that for miles upon miles. Good luck, my friend. I was like, oh, okay. It's one of those again.
Barren
All right.
wasteland.
Yeah. I was like, oh boy, another one of these ones. But it's kicked off pretty well, and I think they fixed what they failed at before, which is, again, what I was talking about, the collectability and the playability. They had the playability before, they had less so the collectability. Fusion World completely flipped it, where they went heavy on the collectability side, but still have the playability piece to it. They still have the actual game component to their trading card game. So they're one of the like unique ones in that they just did a complete evolution. They went from like they broke out of their cocoon and turned into a big beautiful butterfly, right?
Ooh,
So this one's a rare one in that regard, but it also goes to show you that like if you have a strong enough fan base, if you have followers of the original trading card game too, right? The ones that played Masters, and you're like, hey, guess what? We're just gonna basically market this as an improvement. We're gonna take everything that we did right in Masters and keep that while improving on everything that we could have, done better. And this is our new creation. And now they have an even bigger following. Still lots of competitions. Still you have the high collectability, high chase cards in it. And yeah, I mean, it's just another example of a big anime IP getting a massive following from trading card collectors too, and trading card players.
right.
So it's this really weird world of like seeing, people walking around the conventions with like giant briefcases, and you're like, oh, you probably got like the Michael Jordans and the Wayne Gretzkys. You're going to trade in your sports, sports cards, all your high hits. This is going to be like thousands upon thousands of dollars, and they pop it open, and you just see like fucking Piccolo and maybe like a Chansey in there, and I don't know. Let's just chuck in a Monkey D. Luffy card, and you're like, what in God's green earth? Like if you looked at that, if I would have told you someone's going to come to your booth and trade you cards, and they're going to be from One Piece, Dragon Ball, and My Hero Academia, if I told you that 5 years ago, you would tell me I need to go see a doctor, and I'd be like, you know what? You're probably right. It's just it's a really weird landscape to be in now. There's just so many IP crossovers. And it seems like every other day there's something new coming out, whether it's something in like already in existence or something brand new being developed elsewhere. So just wild times.
Wild times indeed. Know what else is a wild time? The end of October, early November, you and I, plus our respective partners, we will be at YumaCon. Yay! Clap, 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 clap. You and I will be on a minimum, I believe, of 3 panels.
Yes.
Potentially a 4th. We'll
Potentially.
See.
Yeah.
So we will be doing panels all weekend long at YumaCon. If you don't know what YumaCon is, it is one of the largest, if not the largest, anime convention or just kind of con in the Michigan or state of Michigan. It's in Detroit. It'll be taking place Halloween weekend. So I think that Thursday to Sunday it'll be going on. I believe I'm only going to be there until I think we fly out early Sunday.
Yeah. But we'll be there. We'll be there Thursday.
But we'll be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We'll be doing panels. We'll be walking around. So if you're in that area and you are planning on going to the con, please, by all means, please come to our panels. We would love to have butts and seats. And hopefully it won't be a disaster like MomoCon was.
Well, in fairness, MomoCon was a lot 'of fun, and the
panel was a ton of fun.
And the panel was really enjoyable. It's just when you have technical malfunctions,
disaster.
30 seconds before your time begins, you're just like, it's a scramble fest. But
it was what it was. We made the best of it, but I'm sure this will go a bit better, hopefully. But we'll be at YumaCon. 3 panels, come see us, and if not, we'll try and get a recording of what we're talking about and potentially post it. We'll see.
Oh, we'll be doing special recordings like that weekend. We'll probably have the as you described them, our respective partners.
Yes.
You could just say wives.
Yeah, our wives, whatever.
Everyone already assumes that we're a couple. Just tell them You
Oh,
don't
I
have to
know.
hide it and
My
be.
wife is like, your boyfriend is calling for
You don't have
I'm
to
like,
hide it
"Oh."
and be like our respective partners. Everyone listening is probably like, they're gay for each other. It's okay to say that.
I mean, we do
I
watch
mean,
a
we
lot
are,
of,
but we
watch a
also
lot of
have
anime.
we have wives too. We are, but yeah, we have wives. But yeah,
Yes.
it'll be fun. We're gonna do some fun content creation stuff, and then we'll do a special recording, kind of recapping stuff. But yeah, it'll be
Yeah.
a blast. It's in my neck of the woods as well. So if
Yeah,
you're
I'll
in
be
the
traveling to you.
if you're in the Michigan area, you'll just for sure have to come. It's always a blast at YumaCon.
Yeah, so stop on by. We would greatly appreciate it. We will be back next week with a brand new episode. So until then, Spark Triumph. We'll see you later.